Seed Hollow is burning. Another victim in Avia's desperate mission to return to the stars. This all started because I brought Lyria to Zega Grande. And now our battle is intertwined with the fate of the Sky Realm itself. We need to get to the heart of the city and fix the damage that's been done.
Whoa! Is this even the same city?
No time to assess casualties, I'm afraid. Not when we know Avia will make a beeline for the castle.
I suspect we'll face a tough road ahead. Everyone, prepare yourselves accordingly.
Need something?
Sometime after our mission in Tempeal, we bumped into the old merchant in Folca.
Well, look who the cat dragged in. Thanks for handling things in Tempeal. You all deserve the best.
Tempeal had been roughed up by Furican's rampage, and all of the locals were busy repairing the damage. The work we did that day had been crucial to those recovery efforts.
Out of curiosity, my young lizard friend, were you much help to your crew?
Uh-oh. He said the L word. I turned to Vern, ready for his usual furious tagline.
Thanks, Pops. You really helped me see the light.
Huh. This was new. The old man threw an apple to Vern, and they exchanged a nod. Then, without explaining this bizarre bond between them that just came out of the blue, he left.
Does anyone else feel like the space-time continuum just broke?
Io was staring, dumbfounded at the small dragon, who was already happily munching away on a tart Granny Smith. Had he matured? Enough to ignore his most hated of hated insults?
Seriously, this is just too much to believe. He called you a lizard and everything. Maybe the ship will be a little quieter from now on, huh? Hold it! I ain't no lizard! And don't you say that in front of the apple! What if it hears you?
Maybe he'd get there in another adventure or two.
How many times do I gotta say it? Getting parts to fix the Nautilus out here in the boonies is next to impossible.
I've never been good with women. My words never come out quite the way I mean for them to. I thought maybe Miss Mechanic would be on board, but... I probably shouldn't be doing this behind Kent's back anyway.
I'm telling you, I've tried everything. Sure, I'd love to see her fly again, but it's time to... get real. Right?
Hey, come on. That was against the rules. How was I supposed to keep a stern attitude against that blubbering mess? When I finally got a word in edgewise, I let her know I already had the parts she needed. Picked them up here and there, across Fanta Grande and Nala Grande. Here, this what you need? I'll cut you a deal.
Wait, how? Where in the skies did you find these?
Caught up in her excitement, she leapt at me. Whoa, not so close, Missy. Of course, she paid me no regard. It was the parts she had her eyes on.
Some modifications here and there, I could... Yeah. I can't believe it! The dream is alive!
Yep, the dream was alive. She didn't have to say it. The look on her face was enough. All that hubbub from earlier was nowhere to be found. After forking over the payment, she happily took the spare parts off my hands. She also made sure to plant a big fat kiss on my cheek before scurrying off. Sheesh, at least warn a guy beforehand, right? Women, I swear. In any case, the winds were starting to blow back in their favor.
Just as we arrived at the cemetery, the clouds opened up, unleashing a torrent of rain. The blue sky was gone, painted over by a steely, unforgiving gray. Looking around, I saw that there were others paying their respects at different plots. Like Karzeda, they probably lost loved ones to the storm. As soon as he laid eyes on the mound of earth in front of him, the dam broke. Karzeda's shoulders heaved with his sobs.
Why did I say those awful things? There were so many more important things I wanted to tell you, but
He sank to his knees, crippled with grief. His fist beat at the earth, sending drops of muddy water splashing onto his face.
I didn't want that to be our last conversation. If I hadn't blown up, if we hadn't fought, I only wanted to see you smile, but I made you cry.
All I could do was watch over Karzeda as he poured out the feelings he'd held back for so long. Let it out, son. It's the only way to get through it. Sierra gave us the news. A lone brawler managed to stop a force of hundreds atop Mount Najalith, all while quelling a raging blizzard with his bare hands? I'm not a betting man. Well, I'm not a drinking man, but, well, I'm not a man who bets when he drinks, but I'd put good money on our brawler being Gondagoza. It hadn't been that long since we sailed to Zega Grande, so the old badger must have been working overtime for word to spread so quick. I asked Sierra to spill the details. The force he scattered was a group of soldiers, remnants of the Church of Avia, and word was they were specialists in guerrilla warfare. Sure as hell they were a fierce troop. How does an unarmed martial artist take them all out? Not that I could ask the master, because you know what he'd say. But hey, who needs words when you got those defined shoulder blades doing the talking? Guess it was just one more legend for the books.
Foul smell fills the air as my dissolving limbs grow black.
Protect the captain! Get him somewhere safe!
No, leave me. Run.
As long as you're alive, we can rebuild. We promised, didn't we? Our lives are in your hands.
You're not allowed to make this sacrifice for me. Please, save yourselves. I'll never forget the memory of that day. My conceit put us in that mess, but I was the only one who made it. After all the good times we shared, after all the pain, they would have to live on in my memory. Once I could pick myself back up again, I began to temper my body. I swore I'd never let the same tragedy repeat itself. It wasn't long before this husk became resilient, augmented and conditioned to withstand even lightning. I no longer felt physical pain, or much of anything at all. It was preferable that way. I could be a shield to protect others, to protect them from the same tragedy that befell my crew. Having lost my place in the world, I found a home in the society, and quickly became contractor to the seal weapon, Great Scythe Grynoth. My missions were simple: hunt primal beasts or exterminate the foe. I did my job so that I could keep people safe, to aid them in their time of need. But despite my best efforts, I still failed. I was powerless when Vern was kidnapped right in front of me. Worst of all, I could do nothing but watch as our hopeful new recruit was cut down. What good was I when I couldn't even protect a single one of my comrades? Maybe the real mistake was believing I could do good in the first place. I joined the society to protect others, which sounds noble on paper, but in reality, it was all for my own sake. I'm the reason that my old crew, my family, found an early grave. It was only right that I spend the rest of my meager life in atonement. At least, that's the excuse I told myself. In truth, another part of me was deluded into thinking I could free myself from the guilt, but only if I could change into another person. Turns out that being immune to physical torture does nothing to protect your heart from psychological torment. Speaking of mental suffering, not long after I joined the society, Ilsa assigned Zeta as my partner. The old me would have worked with her just fine, but too much had changed. Her blunt honesty rubbed me the wrong way. A man can only take so much random commentary before he goes insane. Even Ilsa called her Pupper, which was kinder than what I had in mind back in those days. But it was an apt name, considering all of her barking. I didn't care about forging a real partnership with Zeta. Every time we had a mission together, I just wanted to finish it as fast as possible. But it backfired. Whenever I pushed her away, she pushed back 10 times harder. She was determined to know me. I would have never admitted it out loud, but I was afraid. After all, the closer you are with someone, the harder it is to cope with their loss. As for why I joined the captain's crew, well, I had my reasons. The captain's father was awaiting our crew in Estalucia, and that meant duking it out with primals and gathering sky map pieces along the way. The captain was strong and humble, had a knack for overcoming hardship. With leadership like that, I knew this crew could actually make it. That's not to say they were running a flawless operation. The way I saw it, they had two big problems. Vern and Lyria, the Red Dragon and the Girl in Blue. It's true they were core members of the crew, but they possessed powers which could represent grave consequences for the skies. Should one overflow with astral energy, or the other absorb enough primal power, they would be erased and herald the destruction of everything as we know it. It was possible the captain could reach Estalucia without any sacrifices, but I wasn't the type to bet on fate. These kids needed a shield. This body of mine would protect them all, no matter what came to pass. At least, that's what I intended. During the fight against the Moon Dwellers, I lost myself to the Atomagod Grinoth's power and raised my scythe against the crew. As pathetic as it was, I became the very threat I swore to protect them from. That was why I prepared a way to stop my own heart. I wouldn't hurt my comrades again. If I couldn't protect anyone, then the least I could do was make sure I could do no more harm.
What are you playing at, Vasaraga? Is this your penance after what happened to Lester?
I was fine with sacrificing myself, as long as I could save someone else. A part of me even believed I deserved such a fate.
I hate when you act alone. You could have come to me for help first, you know? We're partners, damn it!
I couldn't feel pain, but somewhere inside I felt like a wound had split me in two. It took me far too long to realize that it hurt my comrades to see me suffering, that I had chosen to run instead of face my fears.
Did you hear me, you big lug? You're not gonna drop dead on us. Not on my watch.
My partner's instincts were sharp enough to cut right through me. But it was her words, honest and blunt, which shattered the walls around my cowardly heart. The pain I should have dealt with a long time ago came spilling out, but this time it was accompanied by a burning desire. We're going to survive this, together. And that's the way it's been ever since. Early in the morning, before the crew was to head out for a request, I headed to the forest surrounding Folka to conduct a test on Grinoth. On the way, I was stopped by the sight of a young girl watering the vegetable garden by her home, the wet plants sparkling beneath the morning sun. But something felt off about the scene. In contrast to the bright garden, a dark, foul mist seemed to surround the girl. Upon noticing me, she scrambled back into her house. The miasma clung to her as she fled. Sorry, lass. Shouldn't have snuck up on you like that. But that odd mist looked too real to be an illusion, and yet it didn't seem to be doing any harm. I decided to keep an eye out. After all, Folka was bustling with the influx of refugees from Tempeal. And there was no telling what could happen in strange times such as these. Grinoth ripped through the silence of the forest. As I lowered the scythe, the quiet returned. It was a perfect place for tuning the weapon. At least, it would have been had I not sensed the presence of someone watching. Whoever it was, they had yet to strike, so I assumed they were no threat. Perhaps they were one of Folka's residents. I know you're there. State your business. Turning around, I saw the familiar face of the mist-shrouded girl.
That black armor. Your big scythe.
Her expression was blank, completely devoid of the cheer she had while watering her garden. Eventually, she spoke as tears welled in her eyes.
I'm tired, Master Reaper. You can take me away now.
The floodgates broke, a steady stream cascading down her cheeks. Mr. Reaper? What are you talking about?
I only wanted to grow those little ones, but everything I do hurts them. They all rot away. All I do is cause pain.
The girl hung her head and grew silent. It was obvious she had given up on life. It was a feeling I was all too familiar with. Once you've steeled yourself for death, you start thinking there's no other way out. But before I could console her, a monster appeared from the brush and leapt at the girl. I felled it in a single blow, but she gasped at the grisly sight. Fear appeared in her eyes. Good. If she could still fear death, then she wasn't too far gone. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm no Reaper. Most I can manage is to bring you safely home. You'd rather not be monster kibble, right? Need to gather your thoughts? I get it. Life rarely gives us obvious choices.
Okay.
Keep close. Maybe it was just a trick of the light, but I saw a bit of life return to her gaze. I took a step back toward the village, ready to prove I was no reaper of the afterlife. Time to go home. Should be this way. That didn't feel like an earthquake to me. Path's blocked by a boulder.
Weird. It wasn't here before.
Let's look around. Someone's hungry. Stand back. I'll take care of it. Umbral Eclipse! For life! Is mine! Come if you dare! Battalions of fear! The moon proceeding with caution.
You should run. I'm not worth risking your life for.
I said I'd bring you home. Besides, I've faced worse than this before. Try it! Death awaits! Turn off! Battalions of fear! It's over! God, this is going to get ugly. Try and stop me! I find you!
You actually defeated that huge beast by yourself.
Good. You're not hurt. Now, what do we do about that boulder?
I know another way back. It'll take longer, but
Fine by me. You take the lead.
over here.
I feel eyes on us. We're not alone.
Zombies!
I've got them. You can't stop fear! Into my web! That's that. Ready to go.
Yeah. What is that? You look exactly like a Reaper.
I guess I'm no slouch with the scythe. Violent Shadow! Come if you dare! Get back! I'll shield you. So, what's this whole obsession with death about? Get off! You don't have to answer, but just remember, once you die, that's it. Don't be so hasty to throw your life away. Battalions of fear! Try to flee! Eclipsed in crimson! You can't stop fear! This is going to get ugly. I find you!
Are you sure you weren't a Reaper?
Even if I was, it's not your time yet. Not today. Upon arriving at the girl's home, I was met by a shocking sight. The thriving garden I'd seen before was now gray and withered, its fruits and vegetables rotting away. How could all the life have been sucked from this place in such a short span of time? When I looked at the girl, she purposefully avoided my gaze. I decided against questioning her for the moment. Whatever's going on, I might be able to help, but we can talk about that later. You should rest.
Okay.
She took an unsteady step through the door of her home. As I watched her go, I felt eyes on the back of my head. But when I turned around, no one was to be found. Yeah, I doubt I imagined that. I spent a few moments scanning the perimeter, but soon found nothing of concern. I decided to call it a day.
Need something? Please come again. Over here! There you are! I'm so glad you're all safe!
Thanks for the assistance.
I would never abandon one of Zeka Grande's most vital trading hubs. It's not in my nature to watch a crisis unfold from the sidelines. By the way, Captain, I don't know if you've heard, but the castle is under attack by the Church of Avia. That forced each of the city's wards to declare temporary lockdowns. I'll be around until the brouhaha settles down. Give me a holler if you need anything. We can't let Avia get away with all they've done. Take this and go show them who's boss. Father, you better put a stop to all this ruckus. Never hurts to have some backup, right? It's me! Can you show? Do your best out there, Skyfarers.
Your princess is ready for her escort.
Skyfarer, I see. Got an order for a new weapon? It's complete. Leave it to me. Not bad, is it? I'll unlock the power of Unlocked. Leave it to me. That went well. Let me show you what my master is. It can be tempered even more now. Leave it to me. It's a great success. Leave it to me. Leave it to me. Not bad, is it? Take care.
Oh, you back already? Look, you've scratched my back in the past, so I'm willing to give part with some intel, free of charge. Regarding the city, my people are out surveying the damage as we speak. Early reports suggest, strangely enough, that Avia isn't focused on taking out the commercial district. Instead, they're concentrating on one area and one area alone. The castle. Considering they've got a force of 5,000 strong, you'd think they'd try to occupy more. But here we are. In addition to the ground troops, they've got manned and unmanned aircraft to boot. Not to mention, the Silver Wolf Corps and the Sword Veil seem to be acting in concert. First time for everything, huh? To be completely honest, the whole thing makes me mad as hell. I'd like to jump into this circus and pound a few chumps myself. The city's well-being comes first. You just go smack their leader a good one for me. Got it? We'll all sleep better once she's out of commission.
Avia is focused entirely on occupying Seed Hollow Castle. I fear Lilith is wasting no time.
She's not sparing numbers either. There's a million of them swarming around.
We don't need to engage with all of them. Cut off the snake's head, and you don't have to worry about the body.
Need something? This one? Will you take this one? We're counting on you.
Attack formation. Heal. Just like that.
You scared?
On my mark.
They're all mine. Behold the pinnacle of swordsmanship! Shine as one! Gale burst!
That was awesome. You were awesome.
Let's see. What's this? Nice find. Ooh. Neat. To the ends of the skies, to Estalucia!
Need something? This one? take this one? We're counting on you.
Okay, people. It's go time!
You're
Stay
bringing the
focused!
whole circus, huh?
Whew. We made it through!
Need something? This one? Will you take this one? We're counting on you.
Careful now. Looking good! Just
Looking here! Moving target! Eat this, sucker! You made that look easy!
What's this? Nice, let's see. Don't worry!
Thanks!
To the ends of the skies! To Estalucia!
Need something? Which will it be? What do you say? We're counting on you.
There we go! Let's do it to it! Alright.
Oh, that's everything! You were awesome out there!
Whew. We made it through!
Need something? This one? Here are the details. We're counting on you.
Okay, people. It's go time!
Stay alert! Don't let anything happen to everything! You were awesome out there!
Skyfarers never fail!
Need something? Which will it be? I opened my eyes and found the most entrancing face staring back at me. Clear skin, dewy eyes, and a mischievous smile, all framed by soft golden locks. Involuntarily, my hand crept toward her cheek for a caress. But when flesh met mirror, I finally woke up and realized.
Yes. Good morning, me. Must still be hazy from exchanging bodies yesterday. Lacing my fingers together, I reached my arms up for a test stretch. Stiff. Not one to be bested by a vessel of my own design, I brought my palms together and began twisting. Take that, you stupid spine, I thought. You will rue the day you defied me. Just how many backbones and digits and faces had I conjured? I'd lived long enough to know it was foolish to try and keep track.
Cagliostro, did you hear? We're going to visit a new skydom!
Lyria's voice echoed from behind the door, snapping me back to the present.
Sounds fun! I'll be out in a jiffy!
My voice was a weaponized rainbow, strategically pitched to invoke thoughts of hugs and sunshine. As the cutest girl in all the skies, no other tone would live up to my utter perfection. You see, it's a common myth that cuteness is in the eye of the beholder. But actually, as I have witnessed through my research, it is a fundamental law of reality. I quickly brushed my disheveled hair, minus one lock, as per the theory of adorable bedhead optimization, and went to the door. The crew would need me at my cutest if they were to survive an untrodden skydom. About 2,000 years ago, before the war, I was a wretched, sickly little thing. We lived in a village with no doctor, so all I could do was wait for the release of death. I still remember the defeated look on my sister's face as she attended my bedside. I couldn't blame her. Not when she was surrounded by the other villagers and their whispers. None of them thought I was long for this world. But back in those days, the sky was full of children who would never live past adolescence. So my life was tragic, but common. With the exception, of course, of one detail. My intellect. I had been working on a theory of reality, one that would let me rewrite the laws of existence. I dubbed it alchemy. I was too weak to leave the house, but my sister would fetch me the necessary reagents for my experiments. At first, each failure was more spectacular than the last. Creating a fully functional body from nothing but dirt and speculation was complicated. Instead, I focused on creating an ageless vessel capable of housing a soul. Hypothesis, test, fail. Hypothesis, test, fail. My pile of discarded monstrosities grew with each unsuccessful trial. But Finally, I succeeded in producing a small life form, no bigger than your average roach. Sure, a misplaced footstep would have killed the damn thing, but it was life nonetheless. And it was proof that I could achieve mastery over my own mortality. Now that I had more data, all it took was a few more months of testing, and voila! I had synthesized a flesh bag for myself. My soul was finally free to occupy a worthy form. Now, repeat this process a few thousand times, and my reputation spread throughout the skies, garnering love and admiration from the masses. Alchemy was at its apex, and death had been conquered for all. Yeah, right. More followers meant more opportunity for betrayal. Eventually, a faction of alchemists turned my own bloodline against me, and they managed to seal me away for centuries. Assholes. These magic prison stories always end the same way. A few hundred years of slumber, and people grow complacent. A group of clueless travelers, aka the crew of the Grand Cipher, managed to stumble upon my inert form and, foolishly mistaking me for a primal beast or something, lifted the seal. Immediately, I wanted to eradicate them. No one could find out I had regained my freedom. I would not suffer entombment again, even if it meant I needed to transmogrify a few Skyfarers. But then, I laid eyes upon Lyria and her blue hair, and there it was, an entity that I could not identify. I, who had unveiled the very laws of reality, could not classify her existence. She was surely from a different plane. My interest was piqued, and for that, I spared the crew. What can I say? Curiosity killed the alchemist. With no particular agenda for my newfound liberty, I offered my services to these Skyfarers. They would give me unfettered access to the girl, and I would give them unrestricted access to my findings. And as a bonus, I might save their asses a few times along the way. Of course, the captain readily accepted. Though I admit, there was something about the gleam in the captain's eye that caught my attention. What was so special, you ask?
That's for Cagliostro to know, and for you to find out. Well then, so long,